What up, y'all? Welcome in. Good afternoon. Let's see, share screen. Cool. That's exactly what we want. Cancel. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to get everything set up. There we go. There we go. And now I can set the screen over here so that I can see you guys and you guys can see me. And I can go over here to the gaming area. There we go. There we go. YouTube playables. I like these little market games. We'll just play this little game here. Welcome in, y'all. Coming in. Cool. That sound was a little bit more sound than I was ready for. Okay, now we're going to take this over here. Take it over there. Spend our $4. Come over here. I'm not good at video games. I wish I could use the fucking... Okay, if I come a little closer to the guy, it's a little easier. There we go. We're packaging up some tomatoes. Some slow-matoes. There we go. Welcome in, y'all. Come on in. Kick back with us as we hang out. We're just going to play this game. We're going to get these tomatoes going. We're just going to kind of load up the tomato stand real quick. Make our life a little bit easier as more customers begin to come on in. I can just kind of serve them their produce and go about it, Yodis. God damn it. Oh, I forgot. I have a touchscreen computer. That's going to make this a whole lot easier. There we go. We're working it out. We're working it out. Welcome in, everybody. Come hang out with us in these later night lives. There we go. Oh, shit. That's not what I was expecting. Shit. There we go. Now we're just waiting it out. We're just playing together, y'all. We ain't anybody here. We ain't in no rush. We're just here to kind of have fun. Start building up what we like to work on. There we go. We got enough for the chickens. And now I could use a shelver to help me out, but I only have a little bit of what he needs. Dang it. Welcome in, y'all. Come on through, see what's up. Damn it, I need to feed the chicken for tomatoes. Gosh dang it. That's not even the same amount of tomatoes that I get. It might seem like I'm not doing very much, but I'm just sitting here waiting my turn. Gotta put this egg down, but I guess I gotta help him out because he's falling behind. He's slacking. So we're just gonna keep playing. And these games are great ways to relieve stress. It's a great strategy when you're trying to distract or keep yourself entertained, be it dealing with mental health struggles, loneliness, isolation, addiction, recovery. Oh, I can upgrade stuff now. LOL. There we go. There we go. See, we're getting better. Welcome in, y'all coming in. What's up? Hey, we got our money back. Welcome in, y'all. Come on in and see what we doing tonight. Let it be. Let's see what videos we got.
Oh, hey, doing, sir? Did you call for a strange smell in your house? Yeah. We're moving all the stuff inside for the hurricane, and then like an hour ago, the whole house started smelling like crap. That is weird. Do you have anything that runs on gas? No, not that I know of. Hey, Cap. I think I figured out where the smell was coming from. Holy crap, we left the gas on? Yeah, and it looks like you dumped the whole tank into the house, man. You're really lucky. I mean, I wouldn't say we're lucky. I was planning on grilling in the house if the power went out, but now we don't have any gas. Are you serious? Oh yeah, man. I have an amazing burger recipe. You guys should come back by after the hurricane. You and I need to have a really long talk. Hey, doing sir, did you call for a strange smell in your house? Yeah. We're moving all the stuff inside for the hurricane, and then like an hour ago, the whole house started smelling like crap. That is weird. Do you have anything that runs on gas? No, not that I know of. Hey, Cap. I think I figured out where the smell was coming from. Holy crap, we left the gas on? Yeah, and it looks like you dumped the whole tank into the house, man. You're really lucky. I mean, I wouldn't say we're lucky. I was planning on grilling in the house if the power went out, but now we don't have any gas. Are you serious? Oh yeah, man. I have an amazing burger recipe. You guys should come back by after the hurricane. Dude, fish tacos are gonna taste so good, man. I know, man. I'm stoked, dude.
Hey, well, where do you guys think you're going?
To the grocery store to grab some food.
And you're just gonna leave this truck running?
Yes?
Really? So you guys think it's okay to leave this giant meat wagon running, gobbling up tons of fuel that my tax dollars are paying for, while you two go inside and do your Betty Crocker shopping?
Whoa. Sir, we can just shut it off if that'll make you feel better.
Make me feel better? You know what's gonna make me feel better? When I fly home tomorrow and write a letter to your chief.
Sir, you do realize that if you don't live in this city, your tax dollars don't go towards our services, right?
Yeah, of course I knew that.
Sure you did. Dude, fish tacos are gonna taste so good, man. I know, man. I'm stoked, dude.
Hey, well, where do you guys think you're going?
To the grocery store to grab some food.
And you're just gonna leave this truck running?
Yes?
Really? So you guys think it's okay to leave this giant meat wagon running, gobbling up tons of fuel that my tax dollars are paying for, while you two go inside and do your Betty Crocker shopping?
Whoa. Sir, we can just shut it off if that'll make you feel better.
Make me feel better? You know what's gonna make me feel better? When I fly home tomorrow and write a letter to your chief.
Sir, you do realize that if you don't live in this city, your tax dollars don't go towards our services, right?
Yeah, of course I knew that.
Sure you did. Dude, fish tacos are gonna taste so good, man. I know, man. I'm stoked, dude.
Hey, well, where do you guys think you're going?
To the grocery store to grab some food.
And you're just gonna leave this truck running?
Yes?
Really? So you guys think it's okay to leave this giant meat wagon running, gobbling up tons of fuel that my tax dollars are paying for, while you two go inside and do your Betty Crocker shopping?
Whoa. Sir, we can just shut it off if that'll make you feel better.
Make me feel better? You know what's gonna make me feel better? When I fly home tomorrow and write a letter to your chief.
Sir, you do realize that if you don't live in this city, your tax dollars don't go towards our services, right?
Yeah, of course I knew that.
Sure you did. Dude, fish tacos are gonna taste so good, man. I know, man. I'm stoked, dude.
Hey, well, what do you...
Do you ever notice those accounts that tell you to comment something on their post?
And how long have you been experiencing this pain, Greg?
You know, comes and goes.
10 years.
10 years?
Since we've been married. He won't go see anyone.
Oh, there's definitely a mass here.
Oh, it's cancer. Is it cancer?
Jody. What?
Oh, nothing. Could be minor.
What you see was the bad news. Why do you look so happy? She has to give him to CT and speak to no one of this. You don't like
Why do you need me to look at it?
It's for your birthday.
No more talk about my birthday. I mean, there are fine surgeons working well into their 70s, and I am nowhere near 70.
Will you just look at the monitor?
Oh, my word. Is that on my leg? And a spinal column.
It is.
It's a fetus in fetu.
It is.
The man absorbed his own twin?
He did.
No, in all my years, I've never seen one.
Neither have I.
Well, I figured it.
Happy birthday.
Has anyone had a commanding officer who was universally respected rather than just feared? What made them different? Colonel Marcus Davis was different from day one. Most commanders ruled through intimidation. Davis earned loyalty through something nobody expected from a bird colonel: genuine care for his soldiers. First week at our base in Afghanistan, 2009, we lost a guy to an IED. Standard protocol was brief memorial, move on, keep the mission going. Davis showed up to the service in his dress blues, stood with the family for 3 hours, then personally escorted the body home. Missed a brigade meeting to do it, told his superior the dead soldier's family was more important than PowerPoint slides, got chewed out by the general, didn't care. That That's when we knew he was different. Most officers protected their careers first, soldiers second. Davis flipped that completely around. He instituted coffee with the colonel every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Anyone could show up, any rank, voice any concern. No retaliation, no chain of command required, just straight talk. Private Williams complained about spoiled food in the dining facility. Next morning, Davis was eating breakfast with the enlisted guys, tasting everything himself. By afternoon, entire kitchen staff was replaced. Sergeant Peterson's wife was having complications with pregnancy back home. Davis personally arranged emergency leave, chartered a military flight, got Peterson home in 18 hours instead of the usual week. When supply chain broke down and we ran low on ammunition, Davis traded his personal vehicle to local contractors for bullets, drove a beat-up Toyota pickup for 6 months while his soldiers stayed properly armed. The respect started building organically. Soldiers would volunteer for extra duties just to help him out. Re-enlistment rates in his battalion hit 90%, highest in the entire division. But the real test came during the Green on Blue attack in 2010. Afghan soldier opened fire during a joint training exercise. 3 Americans wounded, chaos everywhere. Davis ran straight into the gunfire, not directing from safety like most commanders, actually engaged the shooter himself while calling for medics, took a bullet in the shoulder, kept fighting until the threat was neutralized. Afterward, while getting stitched up, his first question wasn't about his injury, asked about casualties among his soldiers, insisted on visiting each wounded man before going to his own medical treatment. When investigation revealed the Afghan soldier had family members threatened by Taliban, Davis advocated for clemency, said the guy was victim too, not just perpetrator. Lost him points with higher command, but gained even more respect from troops. The final moment that sealed his legend happened right before our deployment ended. Specialist Garcia had been injured, needed surgery that would keep him from deploying home with his unit. Standard procedure was leave him behind, catch up later. Davis refused, delayed the entire battalion's departure by 4 days, waited for Garcia to recover enough to travel. 200 soldiers got home late because one private couldn't walk properly. Nobody complained. They were proud of their commander's decision. Davis retired as a 2-star general, but took longer than his peers because he always chose soldiers over politics. At his retirement ceremony, over 1,000 former subordinates showed up. Guys flew in from across the country just to salute him one last time. The difference between fear and respect: fear makes soldiers follow orders. Respect makes them follow the leader anywhere. Davis proved that caring about your people isn't weakness in command. It's the strongest leadership tool you can have. 20 years later, guys from his battalion still check in with him, still call him Colonel, even though he's been out for a decade. Has anyone had a commanding officer who was universally respected rather than just feared? What made them different? Colonel Marcus Davis was different from day one. Most commanders ruled through intimidation. Davis earned loyalty through something nobody expected from a bird colonel: genuine care for his soldiers. First week at our base in Afghanistan, 2009, we lost a guy to an IED. Standard protocol was brief memorial, move on, keep the mission going. Davis showed up to the service in his dress blues, stood with the family for 3 hours, then personally escorted the body home. Missed a brigade meeting to do it, told his superior the dead soldier's family was more important than PowerPoint slides, got chewed out by the general, didn't care. That's when we knew he was different. Most officers protected their careers first, soldiers second. Davis flipped that completely around. He instituted coffee with the colonel every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Anyone could show up, any rank, voice any concern. No retaliation, no chain of command required, just straight talk. Private Williams complained about spoiled food in the dining facility. Next morning, Davis was eating breakfast with the enlisted guys, tasting everything himself. By afternoon, entire kitchen staff was replaced. Sergeant Peterson's wife was having complications with pregnancy back home. Davis personally arranged emergency leave, chartered a military flight, got Peterson home in 18 hours instead of the usual week. When supply chain broke down and we ran low on ammunition, Davis traded his personal vehicle to local contractors for bullets, drove a beat-up Toyota pickup for 6 months while his soldiers stayed.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder.
The girl stepped up with a long jump.
NASCAR banned this move after one driver did the impossible with a GameCube trick. Ross Chastain was a melon farmer turned racer. 2022 Martinsville Championship Elimination Race. He was running 10th with 1 lap to go. His title dreams were over, or so everyone thought. Ross had an idea nobody saw coming. Back in 2005, he played NASCAR on GameCube. There was this weird physics glitch. You could use the wall as a speed boost, ride the barrier through the turns. It was just a video game trick until Ross made it real. Final lap. He drove straight into the wall, started grinding along the barrier. The car accelerated impossibly fast, wall riding through turns 3 and 4. He passed 5 cars in seconds, crossed the line in 5th place, made the championship cut. The announcers were speechless. NASCAR officials were furious. They immediately wrote new rules. Wall riding was banned forever. Next story, wilder followed. NASCAR banned
I had my daughter write a morbid school family tree project. My biological family is gone. I grew up in foster care, so my friends became my family. I met my late husband in college. He was raised solely by his mother, who later abandoned him and eventually passed away. He had no adoptive family. As an adult, I looked into both of our family trees, and to put it mildly, our biological ancestors were either dangerous people or deceased. My late husband and our older son passed away in a car accident. My daughter is in kindergarten, and she, more accurately I, was supposed to do a family tree project for school. I tried explaining to her teacher that this wouldn't be some cheerful picture-perfect report, but she just couldn't grasp the idea that, for some people, family is a complicated and even dark subject. She insisted it had to be biological. So I did it. Some of them, like her father and my son, I have actual information. For aside from that, they're dead. But for most of my family and her paternal family, I literally only have birth dates, death dates, when they would have had their kids, and cemetery information, unless they were cremated. It was supposed to have 10 pictures, but most of what I have of my ancestors are just headstones. When my husband and I first married, I took a trip to photograph them, so I included those. I only have 3 photos of my biological family, mostly group shots where I can only identify a few people. I don't have any pictures of my late husband's family before me and the kids, but I added some older ones as well. So while the other kids had long family trees, my daughter was basically introducing the concept of death to her kindergarten class. Now I'm getting slammed with calls from other parents, the teacher, and the principal. They're appalled that I allowed such a I had my daughter write a morbid school family tree project. My biological family is gone. I grew up in foster care, so my friends became my family. I met my late husband in college. He was raised solely by his mother, who later abandoned him and eventually passed away. He had no adoptive family. As an adult, I looked into both of our family trees, and to put it mildly, our biological ancestors were either dangerous people or deceased. My late husband and our older son passed away in a car accident. My daughter is in kindergarten, and she, more accurately I, was supposed to do a family tree project for school. I tried explaining to her teacher that this wouldn't be some cheerful picture-perfect report, but she just couldn't grasp the idea that, for some people, family is a complicated and even dark subject. She insisted it had to be biological. So I did it. Some of them, like her father and my...
What's the funniest game that turns serious fast? My family plays this twisted game called Secret Suspicions every Christmas Eve. Everyone writes down what they genuinely think another family member is hiding. Then we try to guess who suspects what about who. Started 3 years ago as a joke. I think Uncle Jerry secretly watches cooking shows. Mom probably still sleeps with her childhood blanket. Harmless family roasting that had us crying with laughter. But this Christmas felt different. My dad had been acting bizarre for months. Mysterious phone calls at weird hours. Suddenly caring about his appearance. Always guarding his phone like Fort Knox. My mom kept making passive-aggressive comments about people who think grass is greener elsewhere. My teenage sister suggested we make it more interesting this year. Let's write what we actually suspect, not just silly stuff. 10 family members gathered around the dining table. 10 brutal, honest suspicions waiting to explode our family apart. My grandmother, the family matriarch, volunteered to read them aloud. She's 84 and gives 0 damns about anyone's feelings. First slip. I think Dad has been having an affair with his secretary for over a year. The room went dead silent. My mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Dad's face turned the color of Christmas cranberries. Second slip. I think Mom has been secretly taking money from Dad's business account to gamble online. Dad looked at Mom like he'd seen a ghost. She started frantically checking her phone. Third slip. I think my brother has been dealing drugs out of his college dorm room. My 19-year-old brother's expensive new gadget suddenly made perfect sense. His part-time pizza delivery job definitely wasn't paying for designer sneakers. Fourth slip. I think my sister is bulimic and has been for years. My younger sister ran straight to the bathroom. We could hear her sobbing through the door. Fifth slip. I think Grandpa didn't actually die of natural causes last summer. Grandma dropped the paper like it was on fire. She stared at my aunt with pure terror in her eyes. Sixth slip. I think my cousin has been stealing prescription pills from Grandma's medicine cabinet. My cousin went completely pale and started making excuses about needing to leave early. Seventh slip. I think my daughter is pregnant and planning to give the baby up for adoption. My 17-year-old niece burst into tears and nodded. She'd been wearing baggy clothes for months. Eighth slip. I think my uncle has been embezzling money from the church where he volunteers. Uncle Jerry, our family's supposed saint, looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. 3 slips remained unread. The Christmas tree lights felt like they were mocking us. That's when my dad stood up slowly, pulled out his phone, and said words that will haunt me forever. Before we read the rest, I need to show you all something. He turned the screen toward us. A photo of a woman and 2 young kids at a beach, all smiling at the camera. This is Rebecca. These are my other children, Emma and James. They're 6 and 8 years old. I've been supporting them for 3 years. My mom screamed and threw her wine glass at the wall. Red wine splattered across our family Christmas photos like blood. My sister came running out of the bathroom, took one look at the chaos, and announced, "Well, since we're all confessing I'm gay, and I've been living with my girlfriend for 2 years." Uncle Jerry stood up and said, "The church thing is true. I've taken about $40,000. My brother pulled a bag of pills out of his pocket and set them on the table. Grandma looked around at all of us and said, "Your grandfather had late-stage dementia. I helped him pass peacefully. I'm not sorry." Christmas dinner was ruined. Half the family left immediately. The other half stayed to fight until 3 a.m. But here's the weirdest part. We're all somehow closer now. No more secrets, no more pretending. Last week we had our first honest family dinner in years. What's the funniest game that turns serious fast? My family plays this twisted game called Secret Suspicions every Christmas Eve. Everyone writes down what they genuinely think another family member is.
Campus hooks all the...
It's my girlfriend.
She can come in if she wants.
Actually, she can't. She has cystic fibrosis too.
So you've never been in the same room?
But that's all going to change once we each get new lungs. Status 1A.
Hi, Ben. So good news. A new pair of lungs have become available.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
So I'm getting them today.
I'll call surgery now.
Whoa, what's going on?
Dr. Latham called the transplant office.
If he doesn't get this transplant, he's going to die.
Dr. Latham says his lungs are completely fused to his chest wall. I'm sorry.
Lisa, I spoke with the transplant coordinator, which means you're up next. I can't. Not if he's going to die. There's nothing you can do, but you need these lungs too. I'm sorry. No.
But what if there was a way you could be? Not through a pane of glass.
You could?
Because you'd have to agree to take the new lungs.
Lisa, this is the memory you will have for the rest of your life. The one moment you were truly together.
Okay.
I love you.
Time of death, 1942.
It's my girlfriend.
She can come in if she wants.
Actually, she can't. She has cystic fibrosis too.
So you've never been in the same room?
But that's all gonna change once we each get new lungs. Status.
The teacher noticed the student's drawing was incomplete and walked over to ask him to finish it, but the student said his drawing was already complete. The teacher was deeply confused, so she asked the student to draw a clock. The student thought it was simple and quickly finished the task, but the clock was also missing half of its face. Realizing the seriousness of the problem, the teacher suggested he see a doctor, but the student dismissed the advice. When he showed his drawings to classmates, they mocked him, saying he was imitating the incomplete beauty of Venus de Milo. Eventually, the student realized something was wrong and went to the hospital with his brother's support. After hearing his symptoms, the doctor asked him to draw a house on paper. No matter how hard he tried, the house remained incomplete. A CT scan revealed a blood clot in the student's brain, which was pressing on his optic nerve and affecting his perception. He instantly felt his life was over because the art entrance exam was tomorrow. Just then, his twin brother came up with an idea. He would take the art exam in his place. The next day in the exam room, the student quickly finished his own creation, then clutched his stomach and told the teacher he needed to use the restroom due to a stomachache. Unexpectedly, the teacher said she had to go with him, since examinees couldn't be out of sight during the exam. He had no choice but to take the teacher to the restroom. Thankfully, she didn't enter. In the restroom cubicle, he found his brother, and they quickly swapped clothes. But when his brother came out, he turned the wrong way, yet the teacher didn't suspect anything. The brother then began supplementing the unfinished artwork. With his brother's help, he passed the exam smoothly. But after the exam, his brother was spotted by a classmate. He hurriedly called out to the woman, who asked if he had a brother. He frantically denied it, insisting he was an only child. But the woman wasn't convinced, and finally discovered the truth. The teacher noticed the student's drawing was
Yeah, it's $13 a month for unlimited internet, and it's so worth it.
I'm so broke, criminals won't even mug me. I accidentally got my girlfriend pregnant when I was 17, and when my daughter was born, I had to raise her by myself. I was really struggling to support her and really wanted to get her a Christmas present that year. I had a job interview one day, so I borrowed my friend's suit and had to walk there because I couldn't afford a bus ticket. On the way, some guy comes up to me and asks for directions, and I told him I was honestly lost too, but halfway through my sentence, he pulls up his shirt showing me he had a gun. He told me he was robbing me and asked for my phone. I just sighed and handed him my flip phone since it was all I could afford at the time. He looks at me confused and asks for the other phone that I was hiding from him. I told him it was honestly my only one, and he's like, okay, well I bet you have lots of cash. Give me your wallet. He must have saw the suit I was wearing, so he thought I'd have lots of money on me. I take it out and hand it to him, and he looks inside to find only $4.23. He looked at me so disappointed. This guy had told me he was gonna kill me, but now I could see he genuinely felt bad. He asked if I was okay, and I told him I was just trying to make money for my daughter at home. He didn't know what to do and looked back down at my wallet. He pulls out the picture of my daughter and looks at it for a second. Then he literally gave it back to me and handed me an extra $10. He said I probably need it more than him and just walked away. I'm so broke, criminals won't even mug me. I accidentally got my girlfriend.
What's the biggest secret you successfully hid from your parents as a kid? I was 15 when I started my secret business empire. My parents thought I was just really into computer stuff and spent hours in my room doing homework. They had no idea I was making more money than my dad's part-time job. It started innocently enough. I was good at Photoshop and made a few logos for friends' gaming clans for $20 each. Word spread online, and suddenly I had requests from small businesses wanting cheap graphic design work. My parents were tech dinosaurs. They knew I had a computer but couldn't tell the difference between me doing homework and running a freelance business. When packages arrived with art supplies or computer equipment, I'd say they were for school projects. Within 6 months, I was making $300, $500 a week, designing logos, websites, and social media graphics. I opened a bank account using my school ID, claiming I was 18. The bank teller barely glanced at it. The money was intoxicating. While my friends begged their parents for $20, I was buying my own clothes, gadgets, and even paying for family dinners without anyone questioning where the cash came from. I told my parents I'd saved birthday money really well. My bedroom became mission control. I had 3 monitors hidden behind a false wall I'd built, claiming it was for better organization. When my parents knocked, I'd quickly flip to homework tabs and minimize my business applications. The close calls were constant. One night, my mom walked in while I was on a video call with a client in Australia. I pretended it was a study group for my geography class. She bought it completely. My biggest contract came from a startup that paid me $2,000 to design their entire brand identity. I was 16 years old, making adult money, me, and my parents thought my biggest accomplishment was getting an A in algebra. The secret almost came out when my dad decided to help me with college applications. He wanted to use my computer and nearly discovered my business email with dozens of client communications. I quickly claimed it was for a school project about entrepreneurship. By senior year, I had saved $15,000. My parents were stressed about college costs, and I desperately wanted to help, but revealing my secret meant admitting I'd been lying for years. The confession came the night before graduation. My parents were crying about student loans, and I couldn't take it anymore. I printed out my bank statements and laid them on the kitchen table. "I can pay for my first year," I said quietly. They thought I was joking until they saw the numbers. My mom's face went through every emotion possible. "Where did you get this money?" she whispered. I explained everything. The late-night client calls, the secret bank account, the fake wall in my bedroom. They sat in stunned silence. "You've been running a business from your bedroom for 3 years?" my dad finally asked. "And making more than I do at my job," he added with a weird mix of pride and bewilderment. My mom was torn between being angry about the lying and impressed by the entrepreneurship. "Why didn't you tell us?" she asked. "Because you would have made me stop," I said. "You would have worried about my grades or said I was too young for business responsibilities." The aftermath was complicated. They were hurt by the deception but amazed by what I'd accomplished. My dad started asking for my advice on his own side business ideas. I'm 24 now and run a successful design agency. My parents are my biggest cheerleaders, but they still bring up the secret empire at family dinners. Last month, my dad sent me a client referral with a note. "No more hiding in your bedroom. Use the front door like a real business owner." Sometimes the best lessons come from the secrets we're forced to keep. What's the biggest secret you successfully hid from your parents?
Do my skincare with me while I
What's your don't tell mom about this moment? When I got home from work early and found my 16-year-old son Nathan frantically washing blood off his hands in the kitchen sink, I knew something was terribly wrong. His eyes were wide with panic, and he kept saying, "I didn't mean to, Dad. Please don't tell Mom." Behind him, the back door was wide open, and I could see his friend Arthur sprawled on our deck holding his head. I rushed outside to find Arthur with a nasty gash above his eye, blood trickling down his face. Nathan finally explained through tears that they'd been practicing boxing moves they'd seen online. Arthur had dared him to punch as hard as he could, promising he could dodge it. He couldn't. As I helped Arthur up, he kept insisting he was fine, but his words were slightly slurred. That's when I noticed his pupils were different sizes, a clear sign of concussion. I knew we had to get him to the hospital, but Arthur begged us not to call his parents. "My dad will kill me," he pleaded. "He's already mad that I quit the football team. If he finds out I was boxing..." He didn't finish the sentence, but I knew that look. I'd seen it before in my ER nurse days. I called my buddy Chris, who worked at the local hospital. He agreed to check Arthur out quietly, no questions asked. As we drove there, Nathan kept apologizing while Arthur tried to make jokes about having a glass jaw. The whole time, my phone kept buzzing with texts from my wife asking where we were. We were supposed to be at her sister's birthday dinner in an hour. I kept typing and deleting responses, knowing I couldn't lie to her, but also knowing this had to stay quiet. At the hospital, Chris confirmed Arthur had a concussion and needed stitches. While he worked, Arthur finally broke down and told us the real reason he couldn't tell his dad. His older brother had died in a boxing match 3 years ago. His dad had banned anything related to fighting sports from their house. Just as Chris finished the stitches, Arthur's phone lit up with a call from his dad. Arthur's hands started shaking so bad he dropped the phone. That's when I made a decision that could have gotten me in serious trouble. I picked up the call and told his dad that Arthur had been helping me fix my deck, and a board had snapped back and hit him. I said I was taking him to get checked out, but everything was fine. I even offered to pay any medical bills. His dad bought it, probably because I'd known him for years through our son's friendship. But what happened next shocked me more than anything. After hanging up, Arthur looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "That's exactly what my brother's coach told my dad when he first got hurt, before he died." The guilt hit me like a truck, but then Arthur continued, "Thank you. My brother's coach lied to hide that they were doing illegal fights. You lied to protect me. I've never told anyone about my brother before." On the drive home, I had a long talk with both boys about honesty and trust. We agreed this would be our one-time secret, but they had to promise. No more fighting, not even playing around. We made it to my sister-in-law's birthday dinner only 30 minutes late. My wife noticed Arthur's stitches, but he smoothly said it was from helping me with the deck. I saw Nathan bite his lip, but he kept quiet. That night, after everyone was home safe, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how many don't tell mom moments my own dad had covered up for me, and whether I'd done the right thing. Then I got a text from Arthur's dad thanking me for taking care of his son. The next morning, I found Nathan in the garage, getting rid of the boxing gloves they'd bought. He stopped when he saw me and said, "Dad, there's something else I need to tell you." He opened his phone and showed me a whole group chat of kids organizing backyard fights. I realized our don't tell mom moment had probably saved more than just Arthur that day. What's your don't tell mom about this moment?
I found out why my autistic daughter screams every Tuesday at 3 p.m. The school janitor had been quietly saving her for months. I used to dread Tuesdays every week like clockwork. My 12-year-old daughter Lily would come home from school and have a complete meltdown at exactly 3 p.m. Not the typical tantrums most parents navigate. These were full-body primal screams that would last for hours. Lily has nonverbal autism. She communicates through a tablet app, but emotional moments often leave her without words. When I'd ask what happened on Tuesdays, she'd just rock back and forth, tablet abandoned. I tried everything. Changed her Tuesday lunch, requested different classes, even drove her to school myself instead of letting her take the special needs bus. Nothing worked. The school counselor suggested it might be sensory overload from Tuesday's gym class, but removing her from PE didn't help. Last month, I reached my breaking point after a particularly brutal meltdown where Lily scratched her arms until they bled. I decided to pick her up early the following Tuesday to observe what might be triggering her at 2:30 p.m. I arrived at school and signed in at the office. Instead of announcing my arrival, I asked if I could quietly observe for a few minutes. The principal, knowing our struggles, agreed. I found Lily's class in the library. She wasn't having a meltdown pern. She was sitting calmly at a table, focused on a book about butterflies. My confusion deepened as the class lined up to return to their room. I followed at a distance. That's when I noticed an older man in a gray janitor's uniform watching the hallway intently. When Lily's class passed, he quickly turned away, pushing his mop toward the exit doors. Something made me follow him outside. I watched as he rushed toward the special needs buses. What happened next made my heart stop. The janitor approached the third bus in line, Penn Lily's bus paired, and spoke urgently to the driver. The driver nodded and stepped out, walking toward the school building. The moment he was gone, the janitor climbed aboard. I ran toward the bus, terrified, but when I reached the steps, what I saw through the door left me frozen. The janitor was quickly moving through the bus, opening every window, all of them, even the small ones near the ceiling that required a special tool. He worked with practiced efficiency like he'd done this many times before. He finished, just as the driver returned, nodded respectfully, and disappeared around the corner with his mop. When Lily boarded 20 minutes later, there was no screaming, no meltdown. She came home calm and even used her tablet to tell me about the library books. The next Tuesday, I arrived early again, same routine bored. The janitor waited until the driver left, then raced to open every window on Lily's bus. After the third week, I approached him as he finished. "Why are you opening the windows?" I asked. He started, clearly afraid he was in trouble. "I am sorry, ma'am. I don't mean no harm. I am Lily's mom," I explained. The girl who used to scream every Tuesday, his weathered face softened. "The bus driver closes all the windows Monday nights when he cleans. AC works better that way." He looked down at his worn boots. "But your girl, she needs the fresh air." I noticed it back in September when she'd calm down if I was working near the open windows. "You've been doing this every Tuesday for months." He nodded. I tried telling the driver, but he didn't listen to an old janitor, so I just fixed it myself. Turns out Lily has severe sensory sensitivity to the cleaning chemicals used on the buses Monday nights. Without ventilation, the Tuesday afternoon rides were torture for her sensitive system. Yesterday, the school held a special assembly. The principal presented Mr. Wilson, the 68-year-old janitor who's worked at our school for 31 years, with an above and beyond award. Lily used her tablet to say thank you in front of everyone, but the real moment came after she did something I'd never seen before. She reached out and touched Mr. Wilson's hand, paired physical contact she typically avoids at all costs. Sometimes the people who understand our children best are the ones we never even notice. The quiet heroes who don't need to be asked for help. They just see a problem and fix it one open window at a time. I found out why my autistic daughter screams every Tuesday.
How did you outfox your ex in family court? My ex thought he was so clever bringing his new girlfriend as a character witness to our custody hearing. She sat there in a business suit looking like some corporate lawyer, ready to testify about what an amazing father he was, and how I was just a bitter ex trying to keep his kids from him. For months leading up to this hearing, he'd been playing the perfect dad role, suddenly showing up to soccer games he'd never attended before, posting pictures on social media with the kids, even volunteering at their school. His whole family was eating it up, telling everyone how he'd finally gotten his act together. But I'd been getting these weird anonymous texts for months, always from blocked numbers, always with specific details about things only someone really close to him would know. Things like ask him about the poker games on Tuesday nights, or check his browser history from last Thursday. At first I thought it was just some random person messing with me. The texts got more specific as the court date approached. Screenshots of dating apps, photos of him at bars when he claimed to be studying for his real estate license, even receipts from a casino 3 towns over. But I couldn't use anonymous evidence in court, and I had no idea who was sending this stuff. The morning of the hearing, I was terrified. He looked confident, clean-shaven, wearing his best suit. His girlfriend looked professional and polished. His mom was there for moral support. Meanwhile, I was sitting alone with my overworked public defender who'd barely had time to review my case. During opening statements, his lawyer painted this picture of a reformed man who'd overcome his past mistakes and just wanted to be a good father. They talked about his stable relationship, his new job prospects, how he'd been attending meetings religiously. I watched the judge nodding along and felt my heart sinking. Then it was time for character witnesses. His mom went first, talking about how proud she was of the man he'd become. A co-worker testified about his reliability and work ethic. Finally, they called his girlfriend to the stand. She walked up confidently, was sworn in, and sat down. His lawyer started with the usual questions about how long they'd been together, how she'd observed his relationship with the kids, what kind of father she thought he was. She answered everything perfectly at first. Yes, he was wonderful with the children. Yes, he'd shown tremendous growth. Yes, she believed he deserved custody. Then his lawyer asked, "Is there anything else you'd like the court to know about the defendant's character?" character. She paused, looked directly at my ex, and said, "Actually, yes. Your Honor, I have some evidence I'd like to submit to the court." The room went silent. My ex's face went from confident to confused. His lawyer started objecting, but the judge was already curious. She reached into her purse and pulled out a flash drive. "This contains recordings, text messages, and photos that I believe are relevant to this custody case." My ex was frantically whispering to his lawyer, but it was too late. She handed over transcripts of conversations where he bragged about lying in court, hiding his gambling debts, and faking sobriety. Screenshots of him on dating apps while they were together. Photos of him passed out drunk at parties he'd told me he wasn't attending. The best part was a recording of him on the phone with his buddy saying, "I don't even want full custody. I just want to stick it to her financially. If I get the kids, I won't have to pay child support anymore." The judge's expression changed completely as she read through everything. When she was done, she looked at my ex and said, "Sir, this court does not appreciate being lied to. He got supervised visitation only. I got full custody, and his child support actually increased. Turns out his girlfriend had found evidence of him cheating on her too and decided we both deserved better." How did you outfox your ex in family court? My ex thought he was so clever bringing his new girlfriend as a...
I'm going to tell you about the worst law affecting personal injury victims in the entire country. Florida has a law that is known as the Free Unalive Rule, which allows a situation where if your parent died as a result of a doctor's medical malpractice, you could bring a lawsuit on their behalf, so long as you're under the age of 25. But if you're above the age of 25, then you can't file a lawsuit on behalf of your loved one. As you can tell from my facial reactions and my waving hands here, this law makes no sense. It's screwing families. It's protecting doctors who do bad stuff. Let's change the law. Great. Everyone agrees that this is a great idea. Ron DeSantis, he decided to veto this bill.
I'm announcing that we will be vetoing that legislation.
Ron DeSantis' reason for vetoing the bill?
It would cause malpractice insurance premiums to skyrocket.
Well, why hasn't it stopped insurance rates from skyrocketing for the last 35 years, Ron? The reasoning is flawed because if this bill worked and if it kept insurance costs low, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in, which is high insurance costs. I'm going to tell you about the worst law affecting personal injury victims in the entire...
With Google...
Broke people that have...
You see that wad of cash and you say, "It's a lot of money for a guy with a not-so-cigarette smelling cigarette. You legally search my shit. I won't let you. We fight. I'm dead."
That's enough circus tricks. Give me the bag step against the wall.
Cute couple about to kiss. Boom. Yoga girl about to take a selfie.
You fucking with me?
Nah.
So if I shoot you now, we're gonna do it all over again?
Yeah, dude. I'm just trying to get home to my fucking dog.
Well, if your past is any sign of your future, I'd get the fuck out of here.
Hey, you freaks! Let me see your hands! Show me your hands!
This is so fucking weird.
Tell me about it, man.
And this has been happening how long? How many times?
Man, if my count is correct, 99. Oh, it's your mom. She calls anytime it takes you longer than 5 minutes to kill me.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. You see that wad of cash and you say, "It's a lot of money for a guy with a not-so-cigarette smelling cigarette. You legally search my shit. I won't let you. We fight. I'm dead."
That's enough circus tricks. Give me the bag step against the wall.
Cute couple about to kiss. Boom. Yoga girl about to take a selfie.
You fucking with me?
Nah.
So if I shoot you now, we're gonna do it all over again?
Yeah, dude. I'm just trying to get home to my fucking dog.
Well, if your past is any sign of your future, I'd get the fuck out of here.
Hey, you freaks! Let me see your hands! Show me your hands!
This is so fucking weird.
Do my skincare with me while I talk about the easiest way to earn money for college. If you'll be a high school senior in the fall, you absolutely need to apply to Niche's $10,000.
End-stage renal disease? My only hope is a new kidney. Luckily, V's donated me one of his. I love you, cuz.
Patient's middle name.
Is that really necessary?
Okay. Date of birth.
I don't know. The paperwork is irrelevant. I'm covering the costs. Cash is king.
I'm moving up his kidney transplant to today.
Not so fast. Brandon doesn't seem to know anything about his cousin. He's avoiding a paper trail by paying cash. And now some doctor we met 2 minutes ago is rushing him off to surgery? You'd be grateful.
We're moving Mr. Wyckoff to the ambassador's suite.
I have to ask you, is Brandon paying you money for your kidney? No money. Just tell me the truth so I can help.
Help? Yes. Me. Brandon's sick. I help family. You gotta be kidding me. My mom took me to Moldova when I was 8. In village after village, I was so bored. But then on the last day, I met V. We couldn't speak to each other. Thank you for what you're doing for me. You're saving my life. I wish he knew what I was saying.
I think he does. End-stage renal disease?
My only hope.
Here are 3 secrets only lawyers know. First, perfectly matching stories can be a sign of guilt.
We tried to see the new Batman at 10:05, but it was sold out. So we went to the Taste of LA Festival instead. That's when we came home and found our parents.
When stories match word for word, lawyers think they're rehearsed. Real memories from 2 different people will always have slight differences.
No, wait, it was Superman, not Batman.
These 2 are in trouble. They'll need the second secret, which is even sneakier. Strategic honesty can help a lawyer win their case.
So you don't know what happened to your parents, but you were caught breaking into a house when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, I feel terrible and I really regret it.
By admitting to smaller mistakes, juries are more likely to believe the defendant when they talk about more serious issues.
Does this really work?
Yes, believe it or not, that's just the beginning. Because the third secret is that juries are extremely biased. Lawyers spend countless hours researching jurors' backgrounds for bias. For example,
Jury number 3 is a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Got it. So after blasting some Taylor Swift, I came home and called the cops.
Studies show that your hobbies, job, and even your favorite TV shows can cause you to have bias when on a jury.
Not guilty.
The trial just started. Here are 3 secrets only lawyers know. First, perfectly matching.
AI can make scams look just as believable.
When did a gut feeling save your life? It was a regular Tuesday at Lincoln High, 3rd period, when the fire alarm started going off. Everyone just rolled their eyes and started the usual drill. File out slowly, complain about the test we were gonna miss, stand outside for 20 minutes while they checked everything. But something felt wrong right away. See, I knew our school's alarm system pretty well because my dad actually helped install it 5 years ago. He'd always complained about how cheap the district was, how they got the basic model that had these specific patterns for different emergencies. This alarm wasn't following any pattern. It was just this steady beep, no flashing lights either. And our janitor, Mr. Kim, wasn't outside directing traffic like he always did during drills. That guy was obsessed with safety protocols. He'd literally memorize where every kid was supposed to stand. I was walking with my chemistry class when I saw Trevor, our hall monitor type RA, just standing there looking confused. He had this clipboard he always carried, but he wasn't checking names off like usual. Even Mrs. Patterson seemed off. She kept looking at her phone instead of counting heads. That's when my stomach just dropped. Something screamed at me that this wasn't right, so I told Mrs. Patterson I had to use the bathroom real quick. She waved me off without even looking up. Instead of heading to the restrooms, I booked it straight to the main office. The secretary, Ms. Gonzalez, was still at her desk typing away. If this was a real emergency, she'd be gone already. Hey, I think something's wrong with the fire alarm, I said, trying not to sound crazy. It doesn't sound right, and Mr. Kim isn't outside. She barely looked up. Honey, go back to your class lineup. It's just a drill. But I couldn't shake it. Can you just check the security panel, please? My dad helped install the system, and he always said, fine, fine. She rolled her eyes and walked over to this big control panel on the wall. I watched her face change as she stared at the screen. That's weird, she muttered, pressing some buttons. The alarm wasn't triggered from here. She called over Mr. Rodriguez, the vice principal, who came rushing over. They started whispering and pressing more buttons. Then Mr. Rodriguez grabbed his radio. All staff, code black, locked down immediately. This is not a drill. My blood went cold. Code black meant active threat. Within seconds, the real alarm started blaring. Different pattern, flashing lights, the works. Ms. Gonzalez pushed me into the inner office and locked the door. Through the window, I could see teachers rushing kids back inside, pure panic on their faces. The hallways went from empty to chaos in like 30 seconds. Then I heard Mr. Rodriguez on his radio again. We've got him, north entrance, subject in custody. Later, we found out some former student named Alex had downloaded this app that could trigger fake fire alarms. He'd been planning this for weeks. Set off the fake alarm to clear the hallways, then he was going to come through the side door near the gym with a backpack full of weapons. But because I caught it early, security checked the cameras and saw him lurking around the north entrance 15 minutes before he planned to come in. They called the cops and grabbed him before he could get inside. When did a gut feeling save your life? It was a regular Tuesday at...
Hey, is that one of our carts?
No, it's my family's cart.
Hey, is that one of our carts?
No, it's my family's cart. It's been in our backyard since I was 3.
Yeah, right. Come on, just give it back.
I'm not lying. When it's nice out, we put it over a fire and use it as a grill. See, look, there's a little cheese left.
Why is there a baby in there?
I don't have a regular baby pusher thing yet.
Sir, whose baby is that?
Mine. Her name is Princess Beyonce, but I'm thinking of changing that. I don't have a bottle yet. Got her a few hours ago.
Sabrina! Promise me that that's your baby.
Oh, I promise. I have a question about this food. That might be a stupid question, but I feel I should ask. The book I have says I should feed her vegetables, and I want to do that. The only vegetable jars I've found have pictures of either black babies or Asian babies on them, and I don't know if the pictures are random, or if there's a reason Asian babies instead of white ones should eat these particular string beans.
That is a really good question. The color of the babies on the jars doesn't matter. However, it's really important that you do not feed her anything with a picture of a boy on it, or else she will grow a penis and a mustache.
I said it might be a stupid question.
Yeah, you did. I just wasn't really prepared for that. Hey, is that one of our carts?
No, it's my family's cart. It's been in our backyard since I was 3.
Yeah, right. Come on, just give it back.
I'm not lying. When it's nice out, we put it over.
You don't even know what you're asking me to confess. You have nothing, I don't have to tell you anything at all. Unless if I can, you don't even know what you're asking.
My daughter told her class, I'm a hitman. When my daughter Madison was in 2nd grade, I got an unexpected call from her school. The principal said she needed to meet with me immediately about concerning behavior. My stomach dropped. Was she being bullied, acting out, failing something? The principal's tone was dead serious, and by the time I arrived the next morning, I had mentally prepared for the worst. Waiting in the office, I was joined by the school counselor, her expression equally grim. The principal folded her hands and said, Mr. Johnson, we're concerned about Madison's imaginative stories. I blinked. Stories? The counselor nodded solemnly. She's been telling her classmates that her father is a professional killer. I choked. I'm sorry, what? She described in vivid detail how you eliminate people for a living, that you have special tools, that you sometimes travel for days on jobs. The principal added, she said you taught her how to hold a knife properly. And that's when it hit me, and I had to fight the urge to laugh, which they interpreted as nerves. Mr. Johnson, we take these things very seriously, the counselor said, sliding a pamphlet titled Healthy Home Environments across the desk. I'm a pest control specialist, I finally explained. I exterminate bugs, not people. I run Johnson's Pest Solutions, you know, the van with the dead cartoon bug on the side. They still looked skeptical. Madison's fascinated by my job. She calls the bugs bad guys. Yes, I travel sometimes for work. And yes, I showed her how to hold a butter knife properly because she was pretending it was a lightsaber. The principal frowned. She also mentioned a special room where you keep your equipment. My garage, I said. It's a workshop. Pesticides, sprayers, protective suits, standard gear. She said you wear a costume, the counselor added. I pulled out my phone and showed them a picture from a fumigation job. This is the suit, respirator, coveralls, not a cape in sight. And the trophies? She calls the photos I take of big wasp nests trophies. I post them on my website. Eventually, after 20 long minutes and several visuals, including a shot of Madison and me in matching uniforms on Take Your Child to Work Day, they finally seemed convinced. As I got up to leave, the principal said, Mr. Johnson, perhaps you should explain to Madison how her descriptions might be